No one expected the final farewell interview for Outlander to turn into the most explosive moment in the show's 10-year history. The cast had gathered for what was meant to be a nostalgic celebration, laughing, remembering early days on set, and sharing behind-the-scenes stories fans had been begging to hear for years. Caitríona Balfe looked radiant but emotional, her smile warm yet trembling at the edges. It was clear she was feeling the weight of the moment, the significance of saying goodbye to a character she had lived with for a decade. But no one, not the host, not the crew, not even Sam, was prepared for what she was about to confess. The shift happened quietly at first. The host asked Caitríona a simple, harmless question. What will you miss the most? It was the kind of question actors hear in every farewell interview, usually answered with a safe line about fans or costumes or beautiful filming locations. But Caitríona's face changed immediately. Her lips parted, her gaze softened, and she looked off to the side, as if replaying 10 years of memories in just a few seconds. The silence grew thick, heavier than anyone expected. When she finally spoke, her voice was soft but steady. I think what I'll miss most is him. She glanced at Sam, who seemed completely caught off guard. The audience chuckled gently, assuming she meant it platonically. Just two co-stars who built a wildly successful on-screen marriage. But then something shifted again. Caitríona blinked, swallowed, and whispered the sentence that detonated the entire fandom. I love him, more than I ever admitted. Gasps echoed across the studio. Sam's expression froze somewhere between shock and heartbreak, his eyes widening just enough for fans to catch every micro-emotion. The host's jaw dropped open. For a moment, the entire room felt suspended in time, like everyone was trying to confirm they'd actually heard what they heard. Even the live audience, seated only feet away, didn't dare breathe too loudly. Then the chaos began. Clips of Caitríona's confession hit the internet before she had even finished her sentence. Fans clipped the moment, slowed it down, added dramatic music, and pushed it onto TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at lightning speed. She said it, after 10 years, this is not a drill. Flooded every comment section. Memes appeared, reaction videos exploded, and longtime shippers, people who had believed in Sam and Caitríona's chemistry since season 1, declared victory like soldiers returning from a decade-long war. But not everyone celebrated. Some fans panicked, wondering if this confession would ignite backlash, damage Caitríona's marriage in real life, or unravel the careful balance she and Sam had maintained for so long. Others feared contract violations or PR fallout, insisting the studio would shut her down within hours. Every corner of the fandom had its own interpretation, and each one more dramatic than the last. Meanwhile, the interview spiraled further. The host, wide-eyed and speechless, attempted to follow up with a trembling, "Caitríona, you mean love as..." But before she could finish, Caitríona lowered her gaze and exhaled shakily. "There were things I couldn't say," she murmured. "Things we weren't allowed to say." That single sentence was enough to send the internet into absolute meltdown. What did she mean? Who silenced her? Why now, at the very end? Sam still hadn't spoken at that point. He stared at Caitríona with an expression fans had never seen before, intense, raw, almost vulnerable. His hands fidgeted in his lap. His jaw tightened and then released as though he were fighting the urge to respond. Every camera caught every flicker, every breath, every silent emotion passing between them like an invisible storm. Behind the scenes, crew members exchanged frantic glances. Producers whispered urgently into headsets. Someone in the control room reportedly said, "Do we cut this?" But it was too late. Millions were already watching live. Cutting the feed would only make the moment more suspicious, more sensational, more unforgettable. And it didn't stop there. A backstage mic picked up Caitríona whispering something barely audible after the host attempted to regain control of the conversation. Viewers enhanced the audio within minutes, slowing it down and boosting the volume. What they heard was yet another shock. "I should have said it sooner." Those 6 words ignited every platform like gasoline on fire. Fans screamed, cried, argued, froze, or replayed the clip 1,000 times. Theories exploded. Had she loved Sam quietly for years? Were they forbidden from saying it publicly? Did the studio control their dynamic? Was this confession planned or spontaneous, or a slip caused by the final episode emotions? And just when the fandom thought they'd reached peak chaos, a well-known insider dropped a chilling bombshell. Her confession wasn't a mistake. She's been trying to say this for years, but someone stopped her. Suddenly, everything changed. The confession wasn't just shocking. It was a clue to something much deeper. And every fan on the planet knew. Whatever Sam's reaction would be, was going to determine everything that came next. The moment Caitriona's confession ended, all eyes turned to Sam Heughan. He sat frozen in his chair, breathing shallowly, his expression somewhere between stunned and devastated. The silence between them felt electric, too charged to be accidental, too emotional to be dismissed as simple friendship. The host attempted to shift the conversation, but Sam lifted his hand slightly, signaling he needed a moment. His eyes never left Caitriona's face. Finally, he spoke, but not to the host, not to the audience. He spoke directly to her. "Caitriona, what are you doing?" he whispered, his voice raw enough to make the studio audience gasp. She bit her lip, her eyes glistening with emotion, as though 10 years' worth of words were finally pushing their way out. The tension in the room became unbearable. Fans watching from home felt their hearts hammering in their chests, as if they were witnessing a scene they were never meant to see. The host tried again to intervene, but Caitriona raised a trembling hand and said, "I'm tired of pretending, Sam." The studio fell completely silent. You could hear the audience breathe, the studio lights buzz, even the soft rustle of Caitriona's dress as she shifted in her chair. 10 years of speculation, 10 years of interviews filled with carefully crafted answers, 10 years of chemistry. They all came crashing into this single moment. And Sam looked like someone who had run out of places to hide. The clip of their live exchange spread online within seconds. Fans around the world watched the moment Sam leaned back in his chair, running a hand through his hair, visibly shaken. He blinked rapidly, as though trying to process something too big to grasp in real time. And then he whispered a line that would be replayed millions of times within hours. "We weren't supposed to talk about this." That sentence hit the fandom like a shockwave. People screamed. People cried. People posted threads 40 tweets long analyzing every angle. What did he mean? Who told them not to talk? Was there a contract? A confidentiality clause? A hidden agreement? Even the host looked terrified now, sensing the interview was turning into something far beyond entertainment. Producers in the control room argued about cutting the feed, but the director hesitated, because stopping the interview would only ignite the fire further. And everyone knew it. Caitriona placed her hand over her heart and said softly, "I'm not breaking rules anymore. Not today, not on our last day." Her voice shook, but her words were steady, like someone who had finally reached her breaking point. Sam shut his eyes for a moment, pain flickering across his face. Fans could practically feel years of suppressed emotion between them, pushing to the surface like a rising tide. Then came the moment that shattered the internet completely. Caitriona turned her body fully towards Sam, open, vulnerable, unguarded, and said, "I didn't just love Claire because of Jamie. I loved Claire because of you." The audience gasped. Sam inhaled sharply. And social media detonated. Comments flooded instantly. "What is happening? This is not acting. They just confirmed everything. Are we watching a confession or a breakdown?" Sam's entire posture changed. His defenses fell. His expression softened into something heartbreakingly sincere. He reached out slowly, hesitating, as if unsure whether he was allowed, before gently placing his hand over hers. Fans watching the livestream screamed so loudly that TikTok's servers nearly crashed. "Caitriona," he whispered, voice trembling. "You know I care about you. You know I always have." She nodded, tears gathering in her eyes. "I know," she said. "But they never let us say it." The word they ricocheted across the internet. Studios? Producers? PR teams? Contracts? Showrunners? Everyone had a theory, and every theory felt both possible and terrifyingly dramatic. Sam took another breath, as if preparing to reveal something that had weighed on him for years. "There were rules," he said quietly. "Rules about us. Rules about what we could be in public." The host pressed a hand over her mouth, stunned. The audience whispered urgently to one another. Fans typed at lightning speed, all trying to interpret what he meant. Caitriona squeezed his hand and added, "If I didn't say it now, I never would have." Her voice broke on the last word. And then the twist arrived, the one the fandom would talk about for years. Sam looked at her, eyes full of emotion, and answered with a line that sent the world into absolute meltdown. "What makes you think I didn't feel the same?" The studio erupted. The audience screamed. The internet collapsed. And for the first time in 10 years, the truth between Sam and Caitríona wasn't hidden behind scripts, characters, or contracts. It was spoken. Out loud. Unfiltered. Undeniable. And nothing would ever be the same again.